Thanks for joining me on episode 11 of my Hiking the Continental Divide Trail series. We depart South Fork and trace the scenic Rio Grande River to the historic mining town of Creede, steeped in Old West charm. Rejoining the official CDT route, we ascend past the towering San Luis Peak, then descend through the lush Cochetopa Creek valley, surrounded by rolling meadows and rugged peaks. This section culminates in Gunnison for a well-earned resupply. Join us for a captivating mix of river trails, alpine summits and frontier history. Today was a Nero day with just a short 3-hour walk out of South Fork. I checked out of the Rainbow Lodge and Motel at 11 a.m. and hit Highway 149 and headed northwest. The best thing about leaving a town is you get to pack out something special for lunch and dinner if you like. In my case, I bought a Philly cheesesteak foot-long sub from Blimpies. They're a carbon copy of Subway. Half for lunch and half later for dinner. Chip Crusher has gone one better. He's packed out a great piece of steak to cook on the barbecue at the campground we're heading to. I found it can be a little bit difficult to adjust to life back on the trail after a day or two off. It seems the body copes better if it can ease back into things. So instead of doing the 22 miles into Creede in one hit, we have stopped halfway at the Palisade campground beside the Rio Grande. Just a Nero today, only done 15 a bit Ks, so just short of 10 miles. Had a late start out of South Fork, heading to Creede tomorrow, so I thought we'd just head out late, take it easy today and then mosey on into Creede tomorrow. So that's the day today, pretty easy one, just walking down the road alongside the Rio Grande and made it to the campsite. The Palisade campground has great amenities, from barbecues to fire pits to a toilet block. It even has multiple bear vault lockers, so I don't have to worry about losing my bear bag tonight. Chip Crusher bought a fishing rod and gear in town. He tries his luck in the river, but nothing is happening. I think the river is running too swiftly. Not that I would know, having never caught a fish in my life. Not to worry, because as I said before, he's packed out a piece of steak to throw on the barbie. With only 12 miles into Creede tomorrow, this afternoon and tomorrow morning are 2 easygoing days. Of course, all that will change when we reconnect with the official CDT route and quickly head back up above 12,000 feet. So I will take it easy today and enjoy watching the flowing Rio Grande on my doorstep. It was a leisurely start to the morning, seeing as though I only have 20 kilometres or about 12 miles to do. I bought a new fleece jacket yesterday at the Rainbow grocery store in an effort to stave off the cold at night. I'm pleased to say that even though it only got down to 0 or 32 Fahrenheit, I was definitely much warmer. Hopefully that will continue when I return to the high mountains. Today was really just a continuation of yesterday with the Highway 149 roadwalk. The highway is still following along the Rio Grande upstream and the disused railway line meanders by the riverbank. At a place called Wagon Wheel Gap, I thought it would be a good idea to walk along the railway tracks for a while. Haven't most people wanted to do that? So I dropped down off the road and onto them. I was reminded of the great film Stand By Me as I rambled along the tracks. Thankfully there were no trains that I had to dive out of the way of. In reality, it is not great fun walking along the tracks as the sleepers are spaced at too short a distance to be able to walk along in an easy fashion. I came to a bridge and continued over. I filmed my way across and quickly realised this wasn't such a great idea. Firstly, if I dropped my phone, it was a goner, as there were only gaps down to the river below between the sleepers. Secondly, once I crossed the bridge, The highway was now on the other side of the river, so that wasn't very clever, was it? With no other choice, I continue along the tracks and soon came to a sudden halt. My first snake on the CDT was right there in front of me. Well, the first snake that I've actually seen. It was only a small brown coloured snake and it soon disappeared below the wooden sleepers.
Here folks, is my first snake. Going down between the sleepers there.
This reminds me, back in New Mexico, Chip Crusher asked me if I saw the snake on the trail near the Jones Canyon Spring. He was surprised when I said I hadn't, because it was right on the trail apparently. I must have stepped right over it. After a quick 4.5 hours, we cover the 21 kilometres or 13 miles and head on into the town of Creede. The first order of business is to get lunch and then we check into the Snowshoe Lodge. Creede is a beautiful old mining town with some amazing old buildings. It's a great place. Another short day today, but not necessarily an easy one. Chip Crusher and I made the most of our time at the Snowshoe Lodge, checking out at 11 AM. Then it was one final stroll through the historic mining town of Creede on the way out. Once again, we stopped at a local cafe to pack out some lunch and dinner for today. This time I got a turkey and bacon wrap with lettuce, tomato, onions and avocado and topped with ranch dressing. Yummo! Plus they gave you a little bag of potato chips.
The mountainside out of Creede is littered with mines, little entrances just like that.
Straight out of Creede, the road heads up through the most incredible canyon. Just steep, high-rising rock walls. These walls are weathered and eroded in an amazing fashion, with jagged edges in all directions. Deep into these rock walls, numerous mines are carved, from biggish commercial type operations to the old-time mining ventures. There are lots of incredible remnants from this long-gone boom time, with some beautiful old wooden mining buildings and structures. I feel like I've stepped back in time. I can just imagine the horses and carts and men in cowboy hats riding up and down these roads. What people are able to do with wood is incredible. From railways, cabins and bridges to massive mining buildings, all by locking wooden logs together. How they even transported all that timber amazes me. I am brought swiftly back into the present by the sheer steepness of the road out of Creede. I think the CDT is punishing us, or getting back at us for the last 2 days being so easy. It rises up 1,500 feet in the first 3 miles or 5Ks. But thankfully, there are so many photo opportunities, I have to take lots of breaks. With 5Ks or 3 miles left on this Creede cut-off alternate, before it rejoins the CDT, we come across a campsite that is really well shielded from the wind. It has high mountains and levees on all sides. It is situated in a little bowl almost, just off the road. While the day is ridiculously short, it is decided we will stop here because we are almost at 11,000 feet. In 4 miles we reach a high point of 12,355 feet. And at that height we'll surely be back in snow and up above the tree line, completely exposed. 3 miles or 5Ks after that, the CDT climbs even higher to what I think will be my high point on the trail so far, at 12,618 feet. So I think we have made the right choice to camp early. Chip Crusher gets a new best on tour fire going, with lots of dry wood lying around. There is already a rock shelter set up, so all we have to do is pile it up high. It is nice just to take it easy and sit around on our makeshift bench staring into the flames. Who needs a television? We had an overnight low of -8 degrees Celsius or 18 degrees Fahrenheit, so not much sleep last night, considering I might as well just have been sleeping in a freezer.
This is the very beginning of the valley that flows all the way down to Creede. I'm up just short of San Luis Pass, and I'm about just short of 12,000 feet. So pretty amazing to think we've walked up an entire valley all the way from down there and those snowy mountains in the distance. I'm back on the official CDT. You can see the trail winding down through here. This is San Luis Pass. And we'll look around this way into the sun. Beautiful mountains out there in the distance. And now we're going up over this little ridge here at 12,300 feet.
Back on the official CDT route, it doesn't take long to bare its teeth. Once again, a high traverse is required along a steep, icy slope. We deem this too risky, so we decide to go down to the tree line and make our way through there. It's back to trying to find a route while post-holing lots in the soft snow. It's hard going trying to wind my way up around this mountain slope.
I've travelled down through that pass over there, between those two hills there. Dropped down and came through that tree line, which was super hard work. Then had to come up through that little valley. And then as I go across there, you'll see the trail going up to that path, zigzagging over the top of there. So that's going to be a whole heap of fun in the next little bit.
We are up so high and it is such hard going. I'm struggling for breath. I start to count out 50 steps just to try and get some momentum and keep moving. At the end of those, I feel lightheaded. So I take an extended break and then just keep doing it over and over until some progress is made. The elevation and hard work take their toll.
I came over that pass there, came down, was supposed to traverse along that snow traverse there. Figured that was too steep, too icy. So dropped back down into those trees. That was hard work. Then I came up over that ridge there. Up there, then I dropped down that little valley, and then I've climbed back up here.
Yeah, I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, I got it going.
Alright, Chip Crusher, any last words? Giddy up. You can lean back and slow yourself down with your, yeah. Woohoo!
10 pounds on my back. Can't even get up.
Here's a look back from our little slide.
The CDT is certainly beating us up. I've only managed 15 kilometres or 9 miles in 6 hours. That's only 1.5 miles per hour. I've made it over one pass at 12,355 feet and then another at 12,374, but I still have my highest so far to go. With about half a k to the top, I stopped for lunch to gain some extra energy for the final push to get up and over this pass. After 3 very sketchy traverses, we finally reached the top of San Luis Pass. At 12,618 feet, it's a monster. Mind you, this is only the saddle, on the way up to San Luis Peak, which is over 14,000 feet high. I'm tempted to climb this peak, but seeing as though it has taken too long to get here and I'm exhausted, it's time to push on over the saddle and enjoy some downhill for a change.
I'm halfway across the traverse. That's the slide down if you slip. We finally made it to the pass at San Luis Peak, which is up there. That's at 14,000 feet. We are heading back down this way, down through that valley. And as you can see, the sun is out and it's actually snowing as well. How's this for a pretty cool beaver dam? Multi-level. Finally descending down the other side. Still at 12,000 feet. As you can see, there's much less snow on this side of the mountain. Still very patchy here and there. So I think in another 500 feet drop in elevation, hopefully we'll be out of the snow, thankfully. It was lucky we got past that San Luis Peak and down this pass in time. It's very grey up there now. Before it was a bit of a whiteout storm came through just very briefly. But thank God we're on the right side of the mountain now, heading down this side.
I'm conscious of this storm looming behind me and I pick up the pace to get lower down faster. It's almost like I'm racing this storm fast approaching from behind. Typically, the trail isn't helping to get us down as fast as I'd like. There is an unruly jumble of rocks and boulders and stones scattered all over the place. There are numerous creek crossings to negotiate, but at least I can rock hop through these. There are multiple tree blowdowns. These are the most difficult of all. Some you have to go over, others on all fours crawling under, and some you get to go around. The grey clouds continue to envelop us as the snow flurries increase. As we lose elevation, the heavens turn from snow to spitting rain on us. The race is over, the storm has caught us. It's rain gear on ASAP and hurry up to find a campsite and get inside the dry tent.
There's a nice wooden bridge here, except for part 2 is washed out. Just what I need.
My concerns about sleeping by a river were confirmed this morning as my tent was so covered in frost inside and out. Heaps of it. In fact, when I tried to shake it off, it looked like snow on the ground. And that is just the frost that did shake off. There was plenty that remained steadfast in place. I rolled my tent up and packed it away, but I'll need to get it back out at lunchtime to air and dry it out.
There's two sounds that I hear often enough walking along the trail. One is the coyotes, which I've spoken often enough about. The other is the little woodpecker. It constantly amazes me. You hear these little machine guns, little jackhammers going away at it every day. I think, gee, they must end up with a massive headache by the end of it. But it's great to hear. This is a look back at the valley I've just travelled down. You can see the snowy mountains in the back where I came up over the top of.
It was -7 degrees Celsius last night, which is a 1 degree improvement on the previous night, but I'll take it. I don't know whether I was exhausted from the day or just tired from not sleeping the previous night, but I actually slept not too badly, despite my sleeping bag getting another puncture. Today it is 25 miles or 40 kilometres to where the trail intersects with Highway 114. My plan is to push for that and try to get a hitch into Gunnison, Colorado and get away from these cold nights. Early on the trail, a massive eagle takes off out of a tree and flies right in front of me. It was amazing to hear the flap of its wings shifting the air. Its wingspan must have been at least 1 metre wide. I think it was a bald eagle, but I'm not sure as I didn't quite catch a view of its head, but it had the white tail.
Just going over the top of the peak now.
The trail is quite undulating with some steep climbs. As I climb higher, there are big, daunting looking snowy mountains to the north. The afternoon is spent going over hillsides, through backcountry forest roads. I cross the intersection where the Great Divide alternate meets back up with the CDT. If I had stayed on this alternate out of Platoro, I would have went through a town called Del Norte and then ended up here. With 5 miles or 8 k's to the highway intersection, I find myself in the densest forest I think I've hiked in. I am high up on a mountain and it is just beautiful in here. You wouldn't know that it is just off the road. As I look left and right, I can barely see 50 metres into the trees. This backcountry forest road has obviously been closed off to vehicles for some time as the pine trees are gradually reclaiming it and closing in around it. With about a mile to go, I catch up with Mark, who is out for a day hike. We get chatting on the way down and he fills me in on all the skiing and mountain biking fun that is to be had in these parts. The best thing is, Mark lives in Gunnison and he wonderfully gives me a lift into town, saving me from waiting and trying to catch a hitch at the highway. The drive down goes through an amazing rock canyon, very similar to the canyon we took up out of Creede.